When we last left Little Rhodey Soap Opera, I was talking about Teresa Paiva-Weed. She's the Senate President who gave the $75 million to the baseball pitcher and then forgot how to get the money back. We lost it. She gave us a bridge, which we then have to pay for with money that we now need to fix the Highway Bridge. Now, that was pretty bad. Maybe it's not her fault. I mean, Mr. Stokes, her high school buddy who gave away the $75 million with her, might have been very qualified. He might have just forgot to read one particular page that told him that $75 million was, you know, $74 million too much to invest in an idea that could probably only make you about $4 or $5 million. That's a pretty good percentage. Okay, let's leave that alone. I'll leave that to you guys. If you don't get rid of the Senate and the House that you have now, if you don't make them all investigate 38, you're a bunch of damn fools. And I'm talking to the Democratic Party now. Democrats need to elect new people, or you need to insist that the people that you have in your Senate and your House right now go through a full investigation of 38 studios and where the $75 million went. I think it's a pretty clear question that you need to ask. Do it. Don't do it. I hope to be in Washington, D.C. I think one way or another I will be, trying to convince Jack Reed to stop bombing the world, because it's not working. Okay, let's move on to today, because every day is just another day in the soap opera. Well, today we found out that Gina Ronaldo is also the savior of Narragansett beer. So that means we have so many more drunken people rolling all over the ground, as you see here, and maybe they'll vote for her, or maybe not. I mean, who knows how it'll work, but that's one of her great claims to fame. Now, that wouldn't bother me so much, but I think back to my buddy Teresa, who I really have nothing negative to say about personally, but at the last minute in the last campaign, she came out for gambling, which I thought was kind of strange, because as a leader, I would think that a person would understand that there's a social contract. You're supposed to suggest things as a leader of a state or a country, as a Senate or a House or a state representative of any type. Things that are good for the people. That means all the people. And gambling is not good for the people. Well, she came out for gambling. Teresa Paiva-Weed did at the last minute, and she got donations from people that were, you know, obviously investing in gambling. And I don't think that was right, Teresa, but that's your choice. And now we have Teresa Paiva-Weed, and we have Gina Ronaldo running for governor, and she's pushing the fact that she saved the Narragansett alcohol-making company, or beer-making company, though I haven't noticed a lot of Narragansett beer being sold in Rhode Island. But hey, okay, so she made a lot of beer, and she got good at it. Again, I wondered to myself, is that a good thing to promote, your ability to save drug-producing companies, alcohol-producing companies? But again, that's what she decided to, present today as her image. So that's August 20th, 2014. Now, the reason these things stick in my craw so much today is because when I was a kid, my grandmother used to take me to this place, and she took me every freaking Sunday. And I started to finally understand what she was trying to say at some point. And it wasn't that I ever believed all the things she told me. She told me a lot of things. For instance, in her view of the world, everybody was Portuguese. So that means Kennedy and the Pope and everybody else was Portuguese. Well, I didn't quite believe that. But I did believe in the general idea. And the general idea that she put forth was moderation. Because what she did in front of me was she would tell me that no gambling was good and no alcohol was good, and then she would drink one half of a Narragansett and buy a raffle ticket or a bingo ticket and, you know, play it out and say, see, we only did a little bit, we weren't too bad, we passed muster. And believe me, my grandmother was a very religious woman, and if moderation was good enough for her, it's good enough for me. I don't believe in prohibition. So, leave it at that. I still think our leaders shouldn't be promoting gambling, should not be promoting their ability to make alcohol. Now, there was one more thing that my grandmother taught me that I never forgot besides moderation, and that was that the most important gift that the Creator, whoever he happens to be, she believed in the God created in the Bible, the Christian Bible. I'm not saying I do or don't believe in it. I believe there's an 80% chance at least that there is some kind of a creator, and I'll stick with that. I don't know what it is, so I can't tell you, but I do believe there's a creator. And what I believe is that the greatest gift that he gave us, and I'm agreeing with my bravo here, was the earth, was life itself, the ability to have life, the ability to have a good life, to have happiness, to do good for your fellow man. That's what I think Jack Reed, who I want to replace, is not doing. He accepts money from the fossil fuel industry. Besides the fact that, of course, as I've mentioned in the past, and as I'm sure everybody knows, he accepts money and associates a great deal with the military-industrial complex. They're blowing up the world. We just found out that Israel is getting weapons that were never even approved, because we Americans, we had so many weapons that we stockpiled the weapons that we were going to sell them in Israel. And so when they felt like taking them, they just took them. They didn't even bother to ask. And then we find out in just the same 24 hours that Jack Reed's buddies in the military-industrial complex decided over the last 20 years that they were going to, behind closed doors, start training somebody. Okay? Kind of like the way they trained Osama bin Laden in the 80s. This time they were fighting Bashar Assad. Those guys are called ISIS. That's right. We trained ISIS. Not because of Obama. Not even because of that idiot Bush. But because for the last 50 years we've been promoting, through what's called our black budget, the idea that military conflict and military superiority would win every day. And in fact, it has not carried the day. Not consistently. I mean, half the time we win, half the time we don't, and we always have piles of bodies. And those who crawl from beneath those piles of bodies that we create, they're our enemies. And they'll remain our enemies until they take their revenge. We can't keep killing people and not expect that someone is going to come and ask us to pay the piper. The reason that I wish to replace Jack Reed is because I want to take power away from the military-industrial complex, and I want to take money away from our military buildup, and I want to put all the power in the hands of the sustainable energy future that we have to get behind, and I want to put all the money that we've been putting into these excess weapons into producing sustainable energy and sustainable farming. Jack Reed doesn't even know what a GMO is, okay? That's a genetically modified food we actually don't even have in this country. We would think in a free country like ours that's so educated and scientific that we would label our food. But we don't even know if our food is genetically modified, which means your oranges might all of a sudden have, like, you know, legs like a frog, and you wouldn't even know it, and you'd feed it to your kid, and the next thing you know, he's growing little frog eyes or something, and you don't even know why. And then you find out, oh, well, the government knew, but they just didn't think you needed to know. I think we need to know if our food is genetically modified. We also need to save the bees. There's a nicotine-based poison that we use for plants that, again, I don't even think Jack Reed knows about, that if we don't get rid of this pesticide, if we don't outlaw the neonicotinoid or the nicotine-based pesticide, that we're going to kill the bees. And if we kill the bees, we're going to lose a lot of our food crop. And in this country, that will have a financial catastrophe to the West, as well as a cultural catastrophe to the country, because we won't have the same variety of food in our country. We'll have to look to other countries and trust them with our food. Again, something we don't want to do. There are many other issues, but the main issue is energy. Well, what we have to do is make sure that we replace all our ways of producing energy. And Jack Reed taking money from the oil companies, as I said, that kind of proves to me that we can't trust him. We can't trust the old guys. All these old guys that have been running the country, they're going to be dead, and the earth is going to be dead. I'm going to be in a nursing home, and all you kids who I'm trying to talk into this whole idea of saving the earth sounds small when you put it into a textbook
It's only these couple little words, but when you really put it in context, what you have to understand is no world, no happiness, no economy, no cars, no food, no girls, no nightclubs, no nothing. If we don't have a good earth, if we don't have a clean earth, we don't have a good anything. We don't have a clean anything. So, besides the fact that Rhode Island presents opportunities for cleaning, as I said, Teresa Piverweed, the example that she set, I found wanting, and over the past few years, and I think that the recent choices that we have for governor are pretty basic. I mean, angels run a city. Clay had a couple of part-time jobs, and Gina failed at the pensions and gave her money to Wall Street and produced a few bottles of beer. But hey, that's Rhode Island. You guys do what you want to do. What I say is you don't elect anybody who will not go into a full investigation of 38 studios that includes every member of the Senate, every member of the House. Anybody who won't go for a full investigation, make them walk the door, okay? Send them out the door. This is it. Either we investigate 38 or we just give up the store. That's all there is to it. My job, the one I want in Washington, is to save the earth. That means replacing all the ways that we have of producing energy and ending the wars that we have in place just to protect the way that we make energy now, which is through oil. So that's my job. That's my quest. I put it to you guys. You have to take care of the state. I'd like to take care of the world. Let's do it. 2014 victory for the earth. Talk to you.